Welcome back to Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. I'm Flex, and today we're diving into a full top-down analysis on Bitcoin. We're going to start from the higher time frames, work our way down to the lower time frames, and check to see if we find any good setups. Now remember, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Alright guys, let's hop into the charts, and today is June 30th. It's about 3 p.m. Eastern time, and the price of Bitcoin is currently at $107,265. Now today is the last day of the month, and today we have the monthly candle close. This closes about 5 hours. It's very important to come back and check up on this to see how we close. Tomorrow I'll do more of a full top-down analysis on the monthly, but let's go over it today as well. Now what's important here is that so far, if this closes green, we're going to have 3 green candles. Hopefully we could get a little spike up and recover some of this wick of last month's candle. Now we are still far away from the 21 moving average, which is at 71,580, but this has gone up a lot in the past couple of months. I believe back in April this was like around $61,000, so now that's at 71 is not too bad. Now we did have some bearish divergence, we did fall down a little bit, but look at this, the stochastics were on the way down, and last month we curved up, and now the trajectory is that we're on the way up, so this is a little bit bullish. Now in another chart that I have here, I had this in a falling wedge on the monthly, and it already started to break out, so we still have a little bit more of this measure move to go in this case. So let's see what ends up happening. I can also see this flagging out sideways, and we're also kind of breaking out. Now we head over to the 2-week chart. We still have 6 days and 5 hours before this closes. The stochastic RSI on this was on the way up, but look, now we're starting to curve over. We have bearish divergence here on the stochastic RSI, so this gets me a little bit weary that we might roll over and come down a little bit. The 21 moving average is at 92,532. So far we do have a green candle, but there's still a lot of days before we close here. Now on the weekly, we closed this yesterday and we were very bullish. We had a green engulfing candle. We've been going sideways so far. I have this currently in a flag. This will break us out to about 135,000. On my other chart here on the weekly, I have this on the falling wedge that breaks us out to 117, and we already made most of the move to 112. Now we're currently waiting for this flag also to break us out. Now we did have bearish divergence here. The stochastic RSI is a little bit toppy. The stochastic RSI is also toppy. I was hoping that maybe this would start flipping up. We still have a chance for that to happen. We would have to wait a whole 6 days to see what ends up happening with that. Currently we have a red candle, but we can't put too much emphasis on that since we still have 6 days. But yesterday's candle close was very good, and that is a bullish sign. The 21 moving average is at 95,566 currently, so if we were to fall down, we should hold that as support before we start dropping down even more. We must maintain at least a 50 moving average, which is at 85,950. If we lose a 50 moving average, then usually that means we're about to start a very deep bear market. If you guys backtrack all of this, we've never really lost a 50 moving average until we got into a very bad bear market. So we have those two things to hold us up, but hopefully we do not see those prices anytime soon. Now let's go over the 6-day. The stochastics are toppy here, so it still looks like we could have more downside or more sideways action. 5-day, the stochastics still haven't reset. We're kind of far away from the 21 here, which is at 98,099. The 4-day chart, we reset. We're on the way up, but this kind of looks like it wants to roll over. The 21 moving average is at 101,456. We are going sideways, so I kind of see some sideways action happening. The 3-day chart, we've been down here for a while. I was hoping that this is going to start coming up, but it also looks like it wants to roll over. As long as we can maintain this 21 moving average at 104,854, I have to remain bullish. And the 2-day chart, we were also going up. Now I'm starting to see a little curve here on the stochastic. So far we have a red candle, but we still have a day and 5 hours before this closes. Again, we must maintain that 21 moving average. Here on the daily chart, the stochastics are toppy now. So now either this could drag, kind of like how I looked over here, or we could just fall down. So we have to be wary. We're barely above the 21 moving average, which is at 105,937. Hopefully we do not lose it. The 50 moving average is right there. The last time we went all the way down to the 80 moving average, and currently right now that's at 101,000. So hopefully we could continue going sideways. This also kind of looks like this could end up being an inverted head and shoulder if we do fall down. So this could be the left shoulder, this is the head, and if we do fall down, since the stochastic RSI are high, this RSI is high, if we fall down we could be making a right shoulder, and then from there we could pop up. Again, I do have this currently in a flag that would bring us up. We currently are out of the flag, but that red candle I'm not liking. Again, we still have about 5 hours hours before this candle closes. So hopefully things turn around and we could go back up today. Now this week, there are a couple things to look out for. I believe Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow, or if not Wednesday. And it's also July 4th here in the United States. So stock markets are going to be closed. So it's not a full week. Usually, you know, it's also the summer. So a lot of people go on vacation. So maybe we're just going to go sideways. I wouldn't be surprised if we go down a little bit as well. So let's see what ends up happening. 22-hour chart is toppy. So this is also showing me like it wants to come down. 12-hour chart, toppy. We have bearish divergence here. 10-hour, we're on the way down as well. We're barely holding above the 21 moving average at 107,000. So a lot of things are telling me we want to come down. The 8-hour is on the way down. We are still holding the 21 though, so that's important. 6-hour on the way down as well. The 4-hour is kind of ridiculous. We fell here. When we were here, I was expecting us to come up and we were never able to make it up. We came down, came up, we're coming down again. Now we are holding the 21. We lost it here a little bit. This candle closes in about an hour. So we need to maintain this. If not, we have support here at the 50 moving average at 106. We lose that. The 200s at 105,689. You guys already know if we lose at 200, I have to become bearish. So far, every time we've lost the 200, it hasn't been for long. We've been able to recover. This over here got a little scary with this head and shoulder pattern that ended up happening, but right now we are in a flag, and hopefully that 50 moving average could hold us up as support. Now I did have this kind of in a flag falling wedge. I would say that we kind of got out of the flag, but this kind of looks a little bit like a double top as well that we could fall. I could readjust the flag. I've done this before, and so let's readjust it. Okay, so by readjusting it, we're technically in the pattern about to fall out, and now we kind of have a new measured move to 111,212. This is kind of what I'm seeing right now. I kind of feel like now it's more of a straighter flag. If I have to readjust it later on, we'll readjust it. Hopefully when this resets, we do get this measured move. So let's see what ends up happening with that. But right now we are still a little bit bearish here. The 3-hour, we lost the 21, we lost the 50. So we're trying to recover back. This looks like it's going to reset pretty soon enough. Hopefully we get to move up. On the 2-hour chart, we're low on the stochastics, but we did lose, I believe, the 21 as well. On the 1-hour, we lost the 21, we lost the 50. We lost all the averages except for the 200. The 200 is currently at 106,064. We must maintain that. That's our first line of defense. You start losing the 1-hour 200, you guys already know the deal. Then we got to go to the 2-hour, we lose that. Then we end up losing it on the 3-hour. We lose it on the 3-hour, then we might lose it on the 4-hour. Once we lose it on the 4-hour, I have to become, again, like I said, a little bit more bearish, because that would bring more downside possibly. Let's take a look at the 15 minutes. Stochastics are on the way down. Now yesterday we went all the way up to about 108,000, like 800 or so. But when I saw this yesterday in the night, I was like, this kind of looks like a head and shoulder. So this looks like the shoulder, the head, and this kind of looked like the shoulder. And we did come down here, but we didn't do the full measured move of it. The full measured move of this would probably taken us down to 105,000 and change. But this could be now like a complex shoulder here. So shoulder, head, and maybe this is the shoulder. Maybe this might be what brings us all the way down. So we have to be careful with that. Let's put here the measured move just in case. Maybe it doesn't play out because some of the stochastics are resetting, but more or less it'll be about here if we do fall. And that measured move would bring us, yeah, to 105,944. So let's call it 106,000. But let's leave that there to see if it plays out. Hopefully it doesn't. And I'm still thinking, guys, overall that this flag is going to break out and we're going to go up before we see some downside. So let's see what ends up happening. If not, as I've been telling you for a couple weeks now, I still see us in the range of 103,000, 110,000 before we make a bigger move. Overall, I am expecting this full measured move of 117 to happen, and I'm also expecting this weekly flag that I have in this pattern to 135 to play out eventually. But again, we have to expect some sideways action, maybe even a little bit downside, just because we are in the summer months, and usually that's what happens. That doesn't mean it has to happen, but it could happen. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe, and if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is Flex Candle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.